Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Model in a Movie
Part two.
episode. What did we argue about last time we did this? What episode
11,
is it?
it's shit. Now you've messed me up.
11.
Yeah, 11.5 actually.
11.5. Yes, I'm even going to put a 0.5. So right out of the gate, I am sorry. I screwed up the episode. I was trying to fix some audio issues, and I overwrote the file into a non-video file, which made us come back again today and re-record all of this.
One week later.
Feels very deja vu-y. Is that a way to say it?
Yeah, because you have the same shirt on. I have the same hat.
I know. I went back and made sure I wore the same clothes, so it felt the same.
I didn't do that. Had a scrimmage this morning. I had my basketball shirt on, but you know.
Did you hurt yourself scrimmaging?
I just stand there and yell, buddy.
Oh, okay. All right.
my days of running up and down the court are long gone.
Your days of running are long gone. Yes, they are.
Well,
Mine
elliptical.
too.
Elliptical. I use elliptical.
I want to apologize for my voice. I drank we went to my girlfriend's hometown has a winery in it in Southern Illinois, and her friend runs the winery, and I picked up a bottle of wine. It's like those small bottles, and they only came in the small bottle, so it's like a half bottle of wine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this Serrano infused red wine.
What's that?
A hot pepper. So It's got a nice. So I basically drank just hot peppers over my whole voice last night, and so it feels strange today. I woke up and went, "Oh crap, I have to record."
Yeah, you know.
Anyway,
janky technician, the janky voice.
Dude, I am surprised, and I'm never gonna live it down from Scott. I'll never probably live it down from you now. But I am surprised after 82 episodes soon to be of the regular podcast, 11 of these, I've only had to re-record one of them once before and now twice.
Hey, that's really good.
That's pretty good. We haven't made major mishaps, though.
You know, you're not. It's in the I'm in my basement. You're in your basement. Scott's, wherever the police let him out of, and so
yes. But the good thing is, it gave me two more things to talk about.
I have one more thing to talk about.
Awesome. So that's good. So let's jump right in and get going on this. So let's just talk about our models. We went over. Let's bring out some of the ones you finished from last time. I'm going to act surprised again.
Well, can you believe it, Jay? I finally finished the half track.
Wow.
So let's look at this.
Oh, cool.
Oh, well, and look what I did. I put the guys in the back like you would do with toys back in the day when you were a kid.
Awesome.
Yeah, I did. I just I haven't glued them in, but I just kind of tossed them in like you would with when you're moving your toy army men around,
Yeah.
So nothing solid. It came out okay, for not.
I love it. I really like that idea. I think you should do a whole army of just gray dudes. Just paint just gray army guys and trucks and tanks and mortars.
I don't think I would do much gray considering they're the Nazis. I'm not really with those guys. It's more green than gray.
Yeah, do the green.
Just happen to be. Yeah, we'll do that. So maybe with those big giant tanks that I bought that take up half my basement, I'll do that. So
that could look kind of cool. Just a flat green with some.
Yeah, but they're so big, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it would look right. It would look like a remote control.
Oh, it totally would. You're right. Yeah, it would totally just look like one of those toy tanks.
So I got that. And then in between that and finishing the deboner, which you'll see for the first time ever right now.
Deboner! Yes.
some guy gave me a little tiny
what a cutie.
Panderverse. And I was, while things were drying, I, just threw some paint on.
That's a good thing about those little pieces. In between other stuff, you can just throw some paint on and get some stuff on there.
Yeah. And then same thing. I worked on this guy from Mr. Psy. Got my Iron Man.
Awesome.
And it's kind of showing up. You can kind of see I used silver for the trunk and the top of the legs, and steel for the legs and the hands and the helmet so that you could kind of
Yeah,
see.
you
There's
can
a
kind of see it. Yeah.
it really stands out in person, but in here. And then just kind of wanted to have that because I did all the other ones like that I have of these in very cartoony look. I just kind of painted the centers white and just hit it with the paintbrush, a light blue paintbrush, and got the kind of like it's powering up to shoot,
Yeah.
which I thought was
Hey,
cool,
works.
And gotta put that back up on the shelf for the 15th time. All right, and then last but not least, the boner. Got it done. All those freaking teeth. Um, that it took a long time. So to recap what I did with the teeth, because there's a lot you can see. The teeth I painted in Freak Flex bone, and it came out too gray. So I put pearlescent white, and it came out silver. So
Okay.
then I used my ivory, and it came out really nice with a wash. Then, and they came out really good, I think. So,
After we talked and I thought a little bit more about it, and I was thinking back to those Freak Flex colors. I remember that bone color being way too gray from for
yeah,
what I want, what I expected out of that color. And I think you used that ivory from Pro Acryl, Pro Acryl,
yeah.
works
Correct.
perfectly for that sort of thing. No,
And
that turned
so,
out great.
yeah, that's done. And I did send a picture to Jamie. He was really happy with the way it came out.
Cool.
He thinks it's my best ever.
Nice.
And speaking of Jamie, I started, and I honestly I haven't even touched this since the last time we talked a week ago today, because I just haven't had a chance. The Bad Santa, getting him, he's getting going, man.
We sold some bad Santas for Jamie. He told me from the last episode.
Yeah, dude, and honestly, this is it's really cool.
If anyone's interested in this piece, contact Jamie Say. I'll put his information down below. It's a Santa with a zombie deer or cut up reindeer is like
reindeer,
dead,
yeah, I don't know.
undead reindeer. It's pretty
Undead,
cool.
yeah, it looks like it's got fur here, but it looks like it's like cut open in the back. I'm not sure exactly. So again, this is the ivory that without the wash on it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it looks like for the plastic with one coat. So you put a couple coats on it, it'll look better.
Yeah. No, that's
yeah,
a cool piece. That's gonna be fun.
So you'll like this. We have. Do you guys have professional development meetings?
Oh yes, all the time.
Day long. We got a grant from the Ohio Education Association, I guess, or something. I don't know. Anyhow, the first hour of our PDs, we have wellness hour where we're supposed to sign up and do something to make ourselves better. And I used to use it as the weightlifting time, but a lot of people have started going into lift when they don't know what they're doing. They're just going in there sitting and BSing, and they're in my, So one lady started coffee and reading, which was cool. I go up there, read, enjoy my. This past time, another lady started a coloring book thing, and I have some coloring books, adult coloring books, not adult, but adult coloring books. I saw the look. I knew it was coming. I didn't. That's your realm, not mine, meat face. So I have one called The Freaks of Christmas. And it's like decapitated reindeer. It's Krampus. It's like ghouls coming out of gifts to grab little kids. It's fantastic. I love it, dude. And they're the women. It was me and all women. And they're just like, what in the heck is? I was like, yeah, that's right. That's what I do. So,
that's awesome. So, they took away our wellness name, so they don't care about
our
wellness.
It's ours is like I said, it's built every time we have one. It's the first hour. It's for that. So, all right, you want to see my kits that I got again?
Yeah, let me see some of those. Let's show everybody what you picked up.
Now that I've rewrapped them up and have them.
Oh man!
Right, so first, I got Styrolens primers from George.
Okay.
Got a pack to. I've never tried them, and I wanted to see how they work. and um, just I'm gonna give him a shot. You got two different. I think it's two different skin tones, and I think this is black or dark brown.
Yeah, it
So
helps to thin them down a little bit. Just as a side note, for anyone who's hasn't tried them or is having trouble with them, I love them as a primer. I still do my usually like a rattle can, and then sometimes if I'm doing my uh, different shades of gray and black and white, I'll use those as my highlights and shadows and stuff. I love being able. I was always just straight up rattle can all the time of a primer, but to
that's
actually
right.
shoot it through an airbrush and get a little more control over where things go, I think it works really well as a primer. So I think you'll get a lot out of those. Pretty cool.
George also sent me the drying retarder for that.
Oh, then that's perfect. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So I'll have that. I bought at Wonderfest, and I don't think I showed it when we did our post Wonderfest show. Uh, I bought his Vlad the Impaler mini diorama, and the swords and spikes for the guys that Vlad has. He
Impaled.
didn't have them, so
Okay.
he mailed them to me, and so I gotta get that done. Huh. Gee, I wonder what this is. This says it's from Paul Gill.
We got a box from Paul Gill for a giveaway next time.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is the next in the line at Windows, next in the line of the Thing series.
Nice.
So
Very,
you got,
very cool.
yeah, they're really cool.
He's just popping on it.
And got to put the teeth on there and all that, but
Yeah.
this again, maybe one of the best movies ever made.
It really, really is. If again, Johansson still hasn't watched it, although he claims to actually want to watch that movie, it is one of the best movies ever.
I will say, knowing Scott, he's not going to like it.
They
Only
probably
because,
won't.
well, I guarantee you, he likes the original, and I do too. That was one of the. I
They're
watched
different
it.
things. Like they're totally different.
They are.
They're both
but
good movies. They are, but they're just.
But Scott is he likes the older
It's funny.
black and white movies.
We
That's
got
all.
an email, Scott and I did, or a message over on the Facebook page. And it's from someone who's watching older episodes. And they got to
Okay.
the episode where Scott said he doesn't like Ghostbusters. They're like, what? What kind of mutant doesn't like Ghostbusters?
How long ago was it? That's an old.
It's like
that's old.
episode 30 something. I think that's
Yeah.
34 or I don't even. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you this question, and you can answer. Have you ever heard of the director Kevin Smith?
No.
Huh? No,
Hmm.
no. So Todd, I think you say his last name Carlin.
Okay.
Carlin. Um, Kevin Smith made a movie called Tusk, where a podcaster goes to interview a guy up in Canada, and the guy drugs this dude, um, cuts off his arms and legs, and turns him into a human walrus. Really freaky, really weird. But
It's been on my list for years. I know the premise. I've seen all the things for it, but I've never watched it. So I'm going to try and watch Tusk here soon.
it's weird, but it's such a good weird. It's
Okay.
such a yeah. I mean, in fact, he has a podcast called Smodcast,
Yeah.
and you can actually like it was just they were joking around, and throughout the process of the show, like they were making fun of it. You hear and see the movie developing as him and his buddy are talking, and the next thing you know, like a year or two later, Tusk.
They made Tusk. That's
So
awesome.
he actually has. It's supposed to be. It's Tusk, then Yoga Hosers, which I don't know if you've seen that, but that's with
No, haven't seen that.
his daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter, um, and they're playing convenience store workers who come across, just bad stuff, and they're little tiny. They're called Bratzies. They're brats that are Nazis, and they run around and go, "Nee, nee," It's It's weird and it's good. But then there's supposed to be a third one of his Canadian. He's calling it his Canadian trilogy of. It's called Moose Jaws, which is just a giant, out of control moose out in Canada, like Jaws, killing people.
You
It's
seen those
freaky.
videos where moose mess people up? You ever seen some of those?
They're
Dude,
huge.
yeah, you don't mess with a moose
No,
ever. Ever.
you got a moose. Got a moose. Can you?
You
There you go.
gotta move when you see a moose. What
Yeah.
else? Anything? Was that it? I can't.
No, I think. Oh, I hit that a little hard. No, that's it. I think.
Okay.
I mean, a lot faster than I did the last time.
Perfect, because we have a little more to talk. I finished a model kit. So I finished my Snake Eyes with timber.
Awesome.
So I'll put a picture up, but I did finish this. And in the process of finishing it, I was able to finally attempt to use these two things as AK Ice Sparkles and Snow Sprinkles from AK, which didn't work anything like I expected them to. So I'm not. So let's go over some of this real quick. The Snow Sprinkles is almost like a gel. It's like a paste kind of thing. And it pours like let's try and not get it. It starts to pour out. So this is like a gel almost, like a.
Is it like Elmer's glue consistency?
Yes, very much like Elmer's glue with some sparkles mixed in, almost like a glitter glue, if you will. And this is, I think this would work better for, like, if you don't have anything that's snow on the ground and you want to make like blobs of snow around your, like if you want to make a blob of snow on a tree branch or something like that, like that. That's what it would be perfect for. This, I'm not in. I think this is more like literal, like sand glitter pieces that are like little sparkles, like a real fine dust. So it doesn't work how I had hoped. This is more like, I think if you wanted, I don't even know how you would use this. I want to go and look up a video of theirs because I think it's more for very small scale things to build up what we have. Because I put it on the snow, like blobs that were already sculpted onto the base, and it just looks like too granular on there, and doesn't really give off a snow effect. So I'm kind of in the middle on it. Like I know I can see where you would want to use it, but it's not on that. It wouldn't be to kind of just. I was hoping it would make it look more like snow, but it doesn't.
Can you hold it up again, like so I can see the snow? Only because I want to.
Really, like I'd have to try. I think if I turn on that other camera. So if I get, let's see if it zooms in. No, it probably won't.
I can kind of see. Yeah, what I'm getting from it is my mom used to do ceramics when
it's not working.
And she would have this snow effect paint that she would put on like Christmas trees at the tips.
Yeah. It's just like that. Yeah. It's just like that. I know because my mom did the same thing. I know exactly what you're talking about. So I am proud of that. I did finish Spectrum Man a while ago. So I'll put a picture of that up here. I don't think I just got around to taking pictures of it. So I did get a model kit finished. Yay. Done with that.
Dude. Next, Blood Football or whatever that thing is.
Yeah. Oh. Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl.
I'm going to put my grass on there finally and be done with those. Although Jamie sent me this crazy video from the ground affected guy on YouTube, and he did a whole stadium, and I always wanted to do a whole stadium for my Blood Bowl board, and now I'm like, oh, these things don't matter. Anyway,
well, again, if you start comparing yourself to others, like if I compared what I could do to you, you'd never want it because you're a better painter. So just do what you do, dude. Who cares?
I would love to have a whole stadium. It'd be so
nice. It's like I had a sign hanging up in my classroom for a while there. It said mediocrity is the new excellent. So there you go. Feel good about yourself.
Ain't that the truth? Holy crap. Holy crap. Which brings us to our movies for this episode. So I got another email about spoiling things when we talk about stuff on the other episode and on this. We are full spoilers here when it comes to our titular movie, which for this episode is The Pope's Exorcist. So full spoilers on that. Full spoilers on Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies. And then we have a couple other movies we're going to talk about that we will not completely spoil because we didn't warn anybody about them. But just in case, anytime we talk about a movie, we may ruin it for you. So go watch it first.
Yeah, seriously, don't. Yeah,
And all the movies we're going to talk about, I'm going to put in the title so you know right away.
and actually,
Stop
I
here,
don't care.
go watch. The good thing about this though is I got to watch two more things than what we talked about last time. And they were two, it was a good balance because freaking love them. Love them. And I don't know if you've seen either of these things. South Park and the Panderverse, Enter the Panderverse. Oh my
It's
God.
on Paramount Plus. I've seen. I don't have Paramount.
Okay.
So.
If you ever get a chance, I don't know when it's going to be available outside of Paramount Plus.
Okay.
But it is the absolute, and I love the South Park guys because they equally take jabs at everybody. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
And they take the biggest jab at Disney I've ever seen, and Star Wars and Marvel, and it is the greatest thing I've seen in a very, 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 very long time. And it's something that needed to happen. And I hope that more people that make movies take it to heart and understand. And they weren't just jabbing at Disney. They were taking jabs at the people that complain about Disney. And they're taking jabs about the other side story to it in there is that how far are we in the episode? Can I swear? Yes. Nobody knows how to do shit anymore. That's what they say. Is that no one, he's like, I'm going to teach you kids how to do shit now. And he pulls out his phone and calls the handyman. And the handyman, all the handymen of the world have become billionaires fighting to get to space because no one knows how to do anything. And everyone with their geology and psychology degrees can't do. Dude, Enter the Panderverse is fantastic, or whatever they're calling it. I don't know. Go watch that new South Park special. It's an hour long. It's like 49 minutes, 50 minutes or something like that. And it is the right amount of stabbings. It's just fantastic.
When my daughter was young, I used to watch South Park and Family Guy all the time.
Yeah.
And I had to stop because one day I was sitting there and she was 3 or 4, and I haven't watched since, so it's been 17 years since I watched these. So I'm way behind on the shows. She's like, "Hey Dad, are you watching the Talking Dog show?" And I was like, "Okay, it's time to stop." And I haven't seen them since. So I missed out, but I loved both of those shows. And yes, South Park, it doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
You're a target.
Yes. And that's how it should be. And that's good art. Good art should make everyone angry at some point. And this episode is right there. And I've fallen off too. I don't watch a lot of the normal episodes, but when they have these specials, I'll watch those, and I'm behind. But my first thing was, I think the first time I saw them was at one of those animation festivals. They would do like their first, that Jesus versus Santa Claus or whatever, or the devil. I can't even remember now what it was. But I remember watching it in the theater and being like, oh, this is going to be cool when they get their own stuff. So it's been a long time. Everybody, that is well worth your time. Watch that. So we'll leave it at that. And then the other thing I got to watch, which they made a direct comment about this movie in that South Park episode. And it is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the animated sequel to the first one, and they said the exact reason why I can handle Miles Morales as Spider-Man is that it isn't pandering. There's an actual story. There's an actual reason why Miles Morales is Spider-Man. And I know Scott completely disagrees, but I think if you're going to add diversity to your movie, this is how you do it. You don't just turn Captain America black, right? Or take another and turn him white, or you just don't to pander. There's an actual written story that makes sense to get that character to where they are. And it doesn't seem to me as pandering or trying to just be diverse for diversity's sake. And Across the Spider-Verse is so damn good. So damn good.
But I saw the first one. I know that it's just on Netflix now.
Yeah.
So I'll
watch it when you get a chance, and we can talk about it a little. I don't want, again, we're not going to spoil these because
but I will say that the first one, not only was it well done, it's beautiful to look at.
I was just the same. It is, for people who haven't seen it or write it off as an animated movie, I'm not going to watch it. It's the greatest thing Marvel's done in a very, 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 very long time for me personally. I
agree.
It is so beautiful to look at. every frame of that is just bursting with just excitement and texture and colors and movement, and just like it's done like how a comic book movie should be done, to where it actually looks like a moving comic book. And it's just, if you have not watched any of the animated Spider, it's so good. In this one, it is, I'm going to say something and I'm probably going to regret it eventually. There are 2 movie trilogies. No, take that back. 3 movie trilogies that I think are amazing. Star Wars, the original Star Wars.
Excellent.
Lord of the Rings, shut your mouth. It's the greatest movie trilogy of all time. And Back to the Future, I think, is another like amazing movie trilogy that does it
I like
right.
the first one. I like the first.
So that one's debatable. I think this, if they nail this 3rd movie that comes out for this animated Spider-Man, it could be up there with those for me in terms of amazing trilogy. This one is very Empire Strikes Back. And especially with the way it ends, that was the one thing I had heard people were mad about the ending, because cliffhanger. It is a cliffhanger ending. I'll say that. It does not tie anything in a neat bow. So if you're interested, if you hate movies like that, the ending's going to make you mad. But holy cow, so good. So good. All right.
I need to watch it for sure. So
what was your new added movie that you watched that you can talk about?
I didn't get a chance. I said last episode I was going to go see Exorcist Believer. Didn't get a chance. I've heard mixed reviews, but people who really like Exorcist seem to like that movie. Just didn't get a chance. But I did go see Expendables 4.
Okay.
And it's Expendables 4. I mean, I think
I've seen the first 2.
Those are the 2 you
yeah.
see.
Okay.
The 3rd one was PG-13. It wasn't good. They try to come back in this one. This is more of a Jason Statham movie than it is like a group movie. But
okay.
I like Jason Statham.
I do too.
They went from, like in the original first 2, it was very practical effects type stuff, and this one goes CGI and on things, and it's very noticeable. So
yeah,
I mean, whatever. And there's no surprises in it. It is what it is. It's a 1986 action film with CGI. So
did you see Snatch? I think that's my favorite movie.
I have
his original, like when he wasn't an action hero, and it was just, his comedic timing is so good in that.
And I just like, I saw, what was it? The Transporter.
Yeah.
I like those. And it's a megalodon.
Oh God. Oh.
I didn't like those, but I like him. So again, I watched. So, cool. It's what it is. Second was maybe a movie that is going to be on the annual Christmas list of watches. Violent Night. I love this movie. It
was good. Jamie liked it, I think, a lot more than I did. I thought it was a very good movie. It was not. I wanted more.
To save people a little bit of, if you're questioning, it is. So, you've got Silent Night, Deadly Night, which of course back in, I want to say that was 84 ish. Caused a big stir because you got Santa Claus killing people, which isn't really right.
Right. It's not Santa.
Right. It's not that. It's a kid who dresses up as Santa after seeing his parents be killed. Anyhow.
Yeah.
People get all upset about things without knowing what it is. This one is, what if Santa Claus was John McClane in Die Hard? That's it. And it's the real Santa. And he's angry. He's tired of kids, throwing up on all this stuff. He almost wants to be left alone. And it, just kind of reignites his love of
it's
Christmas.
The falling down of Christmas movies in a way. Almost.
Isn't Falling Down good?
Yeah. Except people hate it now because
I don't care. I don't care about people.
I can't say why. We'll get banned.
We know why. And honestly, that sucks because that is a really well done. Michael Douglas is great in that movie.
Yeah.
Great in that movie.
Yeah.
And whether it's,
I don't know how many times I've said it and someone's like, well, he's the bad guy, right? And I'm like, okay.
He is, but at the same time, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Flash season 6. I'm up through 6 seasons on Flash.
Okay.
And I kind of watched like 3 seasons right in a row, and I grew a little tired of it. So I had to step back just because it's 22 episodes, and and I started watching Blown Away on Netflix. And
Okay.
it is a show about glass blowers in a competition about
I'll
glass
check that
blowing.
out.
And they're each 30 minutes long each episode. There's 10 episodes per season. So it's my lunch period. I watch an episode in my lunch period. Already done with 2.5 seasons. Some of the characters I don't like. They push some political agendas too hard, left and right.
Yeah.
What the artistry is unbelievable,
Yeah.
and
That's
it's
Glassblow's cool. And to see how they, yeah,
what
I'll
they
have to
can
check
do
that.
is unbelievable. And I knew you would like that, being the artist and the
Yeah.
sculptor. And
I wonder if I have a friend who's a glassblower. I wonder if he's knows about this. So I'll have to,
I'm sure he does. I mean, they're getting, like, the first season seemed to be people from America.
okay.
Then season 2 and 3, they grabbed like people from Australia, Great Britain, and different countries coming in as well as Americans.
Okay,
So
cool.
you'll really dig it, man. Some of the things they come up with are like watching someone blow glass inside of another glass thing, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they got
yeah. Yep.
so
I saw a video the other day of a guy burning himself because he dropped the glass, like it popped off the blowing rod, and he went to catch it with his hand. I
yeah.
just automatically, and I was like, "Oh no, not good."
But they all have gloves, and it looks like leather maybe that they hold. So
It's a no. That is a stack of newspaper. Usually, I've seen
really?
it's of wet newspaper that they'll put underneath sometimes, or it's like I think some guys do it different. But a lot of guys I've seen and women, it's like a big wad of newspaper that they use to kind of they keep getting wet and going underneath to help round it out.
Yeah, but it's unbelievable. And it's really, really good.
Yeah,
So
there's a really good, and I haven't gone in a couple of years here in Chicago. There's the Sofa Show, Sculpture, Objects, and Functional Art, and they have the big Corning glass blower guys come with their mobile like glory hole they call it, and
yeah.
all that stuff. So it's cool to watch in person.
And
So
actually, I think, and again, I've been watching the winners of the season gets a Corning Glass like internship or
oh
something.
really? That's
Yeah,
yeah.
or either internship or they get a show at their, like, they
Huh.
get to do a glass show and exhibition there. So it's it's like
Cool.
worth 60 grand or so. It's good, man. You'll like it.
Yeah, I'll check it out for sure. Quick Netflix point that is new from the last episode. I knew they were finally on to me when I had to designate my home base for Netflix. And so my parents have been sharing my password with me with their own little profile and all that stuff. So as of last night, they cut them off and I have to now pay an extra $8 a month to have my parents watch with my Netflix account. So everyone, it's coming. It's coming. Like, you'll have to make a decision here quickly. And so I think my total bill for Netflix now is like $24 a month or something.
Is that like the family? I think that's what we have already, is the family plan. So I think we already paid that.
Yeah, you might already have that. I just had the individual, and my parents had their own profile on there. So for years, I don't know how they're going to do it. Like, because when I travel and I want to put Netflix on a TV that I'm at where I am, I think maybe they'll send you a code. I don't know. It's all new.
That, or I mean, oh God, look at that beard sticking out. I got to do some work. We, like, you.
Speaking of hair, look at a week more.
Oh, it's
Hold on,
coming
let me
in.
get sideways. Look
Look
at
at
this.
that. Holy cow, is that?
My Reggie Bannister is getting up there. Everyone is hating it and I'm loving it because I just want, dude, I am so really bald. It's so gross. Oh God.
Yeah.
And it itches. I'm not used to.
Yeah, it's gonna take about another week or so, and the itching will go away. You know that, though. That's from even with the beard. You get,
Yeah.
although you don't trim it. I don't really either.
I trim it to go to a point, but I want to do Reggie Bannister / Warren Ellis from the Bad Seeds. Really long, gross gray.
Gotcha.
Yes, just like that, but gray. You have more, but you got lucky. You went bald this way.
Yeah.
Instead of through the middle.
Well, actually, I mean, it's kind of. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of spinning up. I got a spot.
That's the thumbnail right there.
But anyhow, yeah,
Ah,
I have another 6 months or so, I think, before I can donate right after Wonderfest, and I'll be able
okay.
to donate. Let's talk about Scouts
Yeah,
Honor.
let's get dark. All right. So I'm gonna try and I'm you know what, I think it was divine intervention that the episode got screwed up last time. Because I might have said too much. And I'm probably gonna have to edit some of this out. Let's get dark. I watched Scouts
Three.
Honor on Netflix. Did you end up watching it too? Well, you've watched it as well. And it's all about the this is where it gets dark and touchy. It's all about the
Don't say touch.
molestation and sexual abuse scandal in the Boy Scouts of America. So were you a Boy Scout?
I did 1 or 2 years of Webelos, which is like Cub Scout
That's the highest in Cub Scouts,
thing.
yeah.
And then basketball, and I had a growth spurt. Next thing you know, I was able to play basketball and sports.
I never had a growth spurt. I stayed pretty much the
I
same.
know I see it, yeah.
Mentally and physically. So but I was a Boy Scout, huge Boy Scout, never did the Eagle Scout road. You'll know why I didn't go that way here shortly. We I have to be very sensitive here because there's legal issues at play. My scout was most of the kids in my troop disbanded because one of our scout leaders molested a kid in our troop. And I talked about it last time, and I was telling somebody the story of what happened to me, my teaching partner, and she was like, "Oh my God, there's a movie on Netflix. I think it's the same guy." When I was telling my story, and I was like, "Get out of here!" So I went and I watched it. Not the same guy, which makes me completely even more angry because there was two guys in my area doing the exact same thing,
Probably
and
more than two.
way more than two. It turns out, but I think everyone should watch this film. It's called Scouts Honor, as I said before, and it just kind of it follows some men who were molested as kids. It talks about like what's actually happening in the organization. There was a former police officer that they hired to investigate and help kind of try and turn the Boy Scouts around, and then it has their POS lawyer who is the mouthpiece for the Boy Scouts and trying to make everything better on their end, and they have not done a good job.
No.
And yes, Netflix has been known to skew documentaries, and any documentarian can do that. But knowing what I know, and knowing like now how extensive it actually was, some of the sexual abuse goes back to the very first Boy Scout Jamboree, because the Boy Scouts have been keeping a secret manifesto, if you will, of a ledger of all of the abuse scandals that have happened and how they've hid them and tried to explain them away. And and this is where it kind of, I think I'm going to say less than I did the last time we did this. There was a chance, and I know I couldn't have stopped it, but I had witnessed something that was explained away to me by the scout leader. And I think if I would have told an adult what I saw that day instead of going along with what he told me, things would have turned out differently for the other boy who ended up. And it really weighs on me to this day. And I know I shouldn't, but after watching this, dude, I was sobbing. And I called my mom, and I'm just like, I was in this Scoutmaster's house, just like some of these other kids were. And I still to this day question if something happened to me, if I was drugged and something happened. And I don't think it did, but I was this close to being in a really horrible situation. And knowing that this other boy was, and there was two boys actually. But I had a hand in maybe being able to stop it and didn't. It really, it bugs me to this day. And I know I couldn't.
I know, but still,
It was explained away as wilderness survival. And in my head as a kid, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Keep going.
Well,
and I'm like, what the? And now, like years on, I'm like, holy crap, that's not what I witnessed. And I wish I could have just had
but Jason,
went back in the past and changed it. But
I kind of said this a little bit the last time. Obviously, guilt is going to be there for you because you care. If you didn't care, there'd be a problem. But my generation, you're 49.
Yeah, just
right?
turned 49.
I'm 51. basically Gen Xers,
Mm-hmm.
or we are Gen Xers.
Absolutely. I am the the most Gen X-y of Gen X I could like when I come to things. Yes.
Um, we were taught you respect your elders, and they're good people. They tell you the right thing, and what they tell you is right, and you listen to them and all that. And so you did what you were taught. And so there's nothing that you could have done that would have stopped it, more than likely. And there's nothing that you did wrong, because you were doing what we had been ingrained in our head. You listen to adults, and luckily, I think our generation is kind of not really doing that. We're not teaching our kids that necessarily.
I think Gen X is more of a, we do question authority. Like that's part of it. Boomer to me
Yeah,
is more of the, like
but
you have to, and we went through this big meeting at school once about how the different generations work together as a team, and how Gen Xers are more of like, you have to prove to me you're good at what you do before I like if you're my boss and I can see you're a good boss, I'll be like, I'll follow you to the end of the earth, that kind of thing. But if I see you're a shitty boss, no, I won't. Whereas boomers were, anyway.
So anyhow, my point
No, I
is
get
that,
it. And I think
no,
what
and
you
I know
said
you.
last episode about reaching out for help, I think you need to say that again, because that's,
Yeah, just both of us are teachers. Both of us have been around individuals who have, been assaulted in more than just numerous ways:
yeah,
verbal, emotional, physical, sexual, and even adults who are out there. They talk about one of the guys, his brother, takes his own life because he just couldn't live with what happened to him as a child, and nobody really believed him. And so just know that you're not alone. There's people out there who care. Use the National Suicide Hotline. Maybe we could post that up there, Jay.
yeah,
Uh, there's someone out there. Don't think there's nothing, you did nothing wrong. There's
yep.
nothing to be embarrassed about. Get help. There's someone who will listen. And if the first person doesn't listen, find some next person and the next person. You will find someone to help you. So just do what's best for you.
And that goes for, and it's not
Sure.
just like the Boy Scouts, but the Catholic Church, which will come up later, which I was raised super Catholic, and knowing who knows what went on there too with some of this stuff. And that's why I'm not there either. I do want to say the one thing that really, like, I went and looked, there's a couple lawyers in the movie, and there's a list, there's a dot, you can go and I'll find the link and I'll put it up, of all of they got all the files released that the Boy Scouts were keeping. And so I went up and looked our leader up in there, and he's on there, and some of their information is wrong, and it leads back to a city in Michigan instead of where I'm at, where it happened at. So it's the same name, Lansing. There's Lansing, Illinois. There's Lansing, Michigan. So anyone who's looking for Lansing, Illinois, it doesn't come up. So I want to somehow get them to change that. I tried calling one of the attorneys, but they never called me back, which really kind of bothers me, because I want to get that fixed. And if that guy who I could have helped is watching, dude, I am so sorry. And one day, I hope to see you again and just give you a big hug and be like, man, fuck this. Sucks.
And
All right.
he would probably tell you did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, though. Let's move on to a little more lighthearted topic. Pro wrestlers versus zombies, which, oh, it's so good. And I gave this the last time I recorded. I'm going to preface this again. Just because we give a movie an A does not mean it is cinematic masterpiece or the greatest movie of all time. It's how entertained I was watching that movie. And Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies hits all my buttons. And we talked about last time, we both watch wrestling as kids. I still watch it as an adult once in a while. I've kind of fallen off in the last couple of years, but I still keep up on what's going on in wrestling. And this movie is like the perfect alternate universe version of what I wish would have happened in real life with some of the wrestlers. Talk about it. Since this was your pick, go ahead, sir.
It's funny is that I think I'm undefeated in picking awesome films, but
oh yeah.
What? Name one that was bad.
Pale Blue Eye was good, but not,
was good.
That was good. Just not
Look, no matter what,
trying to think what else.
all I have to say is crimes of the future, and I win. So, you see, exactly. Hide your head in shame. There you go. Um, so we've got right in the opening scene, a wrestler catches his girlfriend having an affair with another wrestler, and they go out and they wrestle, and he breaks that guy's neck and kills him.
Shane Douglas kills the other wrestler. Yes.
Just anger. He's jealous, and oh, it was an accident. Pile drives him right into
oblivion,
limbo or whatever. Yeah, so he's gone, and so the rest of the movie is basically his brother with a Scottish, Irish, German accent. It changes every so often.
The Scotch, Irish, Eastern European necromancer is what it turns out.
He wants to get revenge on him and the girl, and so he sets up a wrestling show where they're going to be invited with some of the other just stars in the area. Whatever,
you have Roddy Piper. You have Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Roddy Piper, again, I know I said I one of my favorites. Top two wrestlers. Number one, Roddy Piper. Number two, Undertaker. Those are the two I love.
Yeah.
And I, Roddy choices. Piper, the Piper's Pit was
Piper's Pit is one of the greatest things ever in wrestling.
I don't know. I loved him. There's a 4 DVD set out there of that our library has, and I'll check it out every so often and watch it because it's just phenomenal. But anyhow, so Roddy Piper and these guys show up and they're gonna do the show, and it turns out that it's not necessarily what they're there for. They're there for vengeance, and the undead has been unleashed upon these guys inside of a school that they were going to use for. Which I thought at first it was kind of, but then if you look at these small,
independent wrestling, it's all in school gymnasiums and churches, or churches, yep, or VFWs.
Yeah, so these guys are going in there and they're going to put on a show, and the show does not go on. Instead, vengeance ensues, so to speak.
Yep, hordes of zombies attack our dear wrestlers,
and zombies, which. Here's the best part: zombie versions of wrestlers we know doing their finishing moves to human beings before they eat them. Jeff Hardy jumping off of a ladder.
Yes,
was it Matt? It's
Matt Hardy. Jeff Hardy's in it. Yep, yeah. Matt Hardy.
Matt Hardy and Hacksaw Jim Duggan being beaten with his his own 2x4.
I think, my favorite part of the whole movie, and it's the most tragic, horrible. It's just Hacksaw chewing on a foot, and Roddy Piper has to kill him with his own 2x4. And it is the most, I think in all of zombiedom movies, it rivals the beginning of, or the end of Night of the Living Dead. When they how tragic that ending is. That right there of Hacksaw being killed with his own 2x4. It's just glorious.
Again, that is, Roddy Piper, and I said it, a week ago, I'll say it again. He's actually a very good actor, and there are times in this movie when he's really, really acting.
Yes.
The people around him cannot.
Yes.
And so he really stands out as really a pretty good actor. And I'm sure that a lot of pro wrestlers are good actors because that's what they do for the most part. Their skits and their little things that they put on the side. I mean, don't get me wrong. Their physicality is unbelievable. They put their lives on the line pretty much every time, but they're acting. And it's
we didn't mention it. It is a trauma movie, which right off the bat, when I saw the trauma logo come up, I was like, oh, I'm in for a good time. Because no matter, exactly what you're getting when it's a trauma film. You're getting schlock, and sometimes schlock is amazing. And this, I think, falls into that category.
So the director is the writer, is the producer, and he also plays the scumbag
booker, the promoter booking guy
who takes $500 extra and sends these guys off without any questions. So, and he's by far the worst actor of the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
he's
God, a worse dentist than me.
Yeah.
Man.
Anyhow, it was.
Highly recommended.
Yeah. and we said before you could redo this now in a way that you have, and it was your idea actually, and I'm gonna just well you
Now
talk.
go
I
ahead,
don't.
say it. Go ahead.
We could take all the older wrestlers now, and even the wrestlers who have passed away, and have them crawling out and
Yes.
be zombies attacking the modern wrestlers, and it would just be phenomenal. You know, you got a dead.
You have your zombie Chris Benoit. You're horrible. Like just.
Now look.
Oh no, that's good. That's good. You know that's good. Come on.
I don't know about that one. That's
have all the.
I don't agree with the WWE cutting a lot of things out. Cutting Chris Benoit out of things kind of makes. I mean, he's slaughtered his own
dude.
family.
Have him as the leader of the horrible zombie horde, as the ultimate evil.
I can't get on board with this one, dude.
Come on,
Roddy Piper.
All right, I'll take that one. But no, I think have Roddy Piper. But I think this as a like alternate universe to ours would be just.
Now the funny thing is, Roddy Piper, is Canadian, and at the very end of the film, you know, he's fought. It's him and the girl, and he's standing there, and I think he has the 2x4. He doesn't have.
No, he's just there at the end. Yeah, he's standing there posing.
The pose, and there's the American flag waving in the background, which makes no sense because he's not American.
Hey, America gave everything he has. That's what it did.
Yeah, because Canada has nothing to do with the rest of it.
They're
the heart found
the dungeon. The dungeon. What grade do you give it, sir?
I give it the A- that I gave it before.
I'm sticking with my A- as well. A-. This was just. I smiled the whole time, and that's a good judge for me. If I can smile through a whole movie,
it's
terrible as it is.
It's not. You know, it's not gonna. You're not gonna see it ever win an Academy Award, but it's
or any award. But I think it is a great.
It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, to be honest with you. But at the same time, you could put this on in the background once you've seen it and have it, and you can just hear something go look. You're like, oh yeah, and go back to what you're doing. I like to do that with movies when I'm grading papers. So
yeah. So yeah, A- for both of us. I did remember the other movie I watched, Boogeyman. I watched the new version of Boogeyman with Jamie. It was we watched a couple days ago. Not terrible. So I don't know if you're interested in watching it. I don't think it was awful. It's your typical just kind of haunted house, scary, jump scary kind of modern movie. So it was not bad at all.
I remember the 80s Boogeyman where he's like inside glass or something.
Yeah, it's similar.
Kind of
the creature design, the creature is really cool. I think the creature design that's the Boogeyman is really, really kind of creepy, like the way they did it. And there's it almost feels very from The Ritual. There's a movie, The Ritual, if you haven't seen. The way the hands work was it was cool. It was cool. I like the creature of the movie. So Boogeyman, not terrible. All right. The Pope's Exorcist, our official movie for this episode.
Russell.
Take it away, sir. It was your choice, The Pope's Exorcist, and let's get the brief synopsis of what it's about.
It's just what it sounds like, The Pope's Exorcist. We've got a guy who is the designated exorcist for the Vatican, and it starts off with him doing an exorcism in a Spanish town, I think, right?
Nope, Italian.
I said Spanish.
Starts out in Italian. You said it last time.
I haven't learned. I'll get there. And so he comes in and he does his exorcism thing and throws it into a pig, the demon, and they kill the pig and it's over. And then we go to a family of a wife or a mom and her daughter and her son. They're moving into an abbey that was left to her by her husband's family. Her husband has passed away in a car accident. And the son hasn't spoken in a year, right?
Since witnessing the accident.
Right. And they're moving in, and it turns out that there's some demonic hijinks.
There's some demons down there.
And that there abbey, it's got some bad stuff happening. So
yeah.
Right away, in the evening, there's knocking, and there's again, the first 3.75 of the movie is exactly what you're going to expect from an Exorcist movie, a demonic possession movie. There's nothing special. It's
And that's,
You
I
know,
think that's where my problem comes in with my grade last time is the
right.
first 3/4, like you said, straight up your typical Exorcist movie. Like,
You got the heads turning, you got the bed shaking, you've got the kid with the bad. It was the voice. That's what it was.
that's the,
The voice.
yep. I
The
did not like the voice on the kid because it just looked too lip syncy to me. Instead of, to me, it would be creepier having the kid's voice say horrible things instead of this horrible voice inside of a kid.
yeah,
It doesn't match. It didn't match up perfect for me. It was a great voice. Like separately, take them apart. I think they work both really well. I did like the makeup on the kid that they started slowly doing. As he got more possessed, I think they made him look sufficiently creepy and gross.
Russell Crowe too. Yeah,
So we talked, I think, Unhinged. We did not talk about some. So if you've not seen Unhinged yet,
I haven't seen it yet. I need to
so
watch. I need
right, go watch Unhinged, where Russell Crowe has entered his new larger body frame. he fits. He plays the most brutal, like angry man. Speaking of falling down, very similar actually. Now that like, but worse. Like I can't even. So watch Unhinged. That's the one I want you to watch by next episode. We found it's on
Amazon.
something.
Right
It's on Amazon. So we'll talk about Unhinged a little bit next time. But I think he makes a good exorcist for the
He
Pope.
does.
Like he fits the character well.
He's very understated.
Yeah.
Like he's not chewing up the which you can really do in this type of movie. You could
Yeah.
really chew up the scenery and go crazy and I'm here for God and all that.
Yeah.
No. He's very low key. He talks like he makes subtle jokes, which are good. And he tells the young priest the reason he does it is because demons don't like jokes.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff in there, really.
Yeah.
And if you like an exorcism movie, you won't be put off by the first 3/4 of the movie
No.
at all.
I just think it's been done so many times now. It's like you need something
cliche.
extra, and they kind of do that, I think, at the end. But
They do. So anyhow, there's a young priest, and he knows he's outmatched. He goes in to help, and he gets thrown out the door by the demon. And
there are a lot of good throwings in this movie where that would cripple someone, and they just slough it off like it's nothing.
You know, it's drywall now; it's not plaster. It doesn't hurt. Although in the Abbey, I think
the Abbey should be
walls. Yeah. But yeah, I liked how it was a little different. Well, it's kind of the same. The younger priest overmatched, calling the older priest. Now, the first time we really see Russell Crowe's priest, though, is he's being called to task for doing unauthorized exorcisms by the younger priests. They're kind of like, hey, it's time to move on. We're not doing this, and you're doing scaring people and blah blah. And he's
people trying to soften the church, in my opinion. Like they're like, evil's not real. This is fake.
His thing is, well, if it's not real, then what are we doing here? Because that's the whole point. Is we're the guardians. We're helping people get to heaven. We're showing them the way, and we're protecting them from the bad. And so, if that's not there, we shouldn't be here either. So, as expected, he's right. They're wrong. They pay a price, especially the really cocky young priest. He ends up. I forget. They send him to the.
He gets sent to. Yeah, he gets
whatever that is.
A crappy outpost somewhere.
Yeah. He's in Antarctica with Kurt Russell. But we've got the Pope who's kind of having some health issues, and
this is another issue I had. It's a real story based on a real person. I just had to really look up his name. Gabriel Amort is the Exorcist this is based on. Has real journals out there, has real books. So it is based on true story, maybe, sorta. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot in there. Who knows how much of it's real?
It's Hollywoodized, I'm sure.
For sure.
Well, I mean, even the original Exorcist is based on a true story. There was that young boy who, when he died, I want to say he died in 2018.
It was a boy, right? In the original Exorcist story? Like it was supposed to be?
Yeah, he was like 2018, 2019, somewhere there he died. And he kind of changed his name and lived in obscurity. And it only came out after he passed away that the boy that the story was based on had died. And you can, if you just type it in, it'll pop up. But so he the old priest shows up and he's like, we got a serious demon here. We got a big problem. And so um they go to work, and they turns out that the abbey, which here's the beginning of taking a left turn out of the typical exorcism. The abbey was used for the Spanish Inquisition, and it was a site of one of the torture chambers and whatever that was used to get after the non-Catholics and show them the right way by tearing their bodies apart, cutting off their feet.
Yes.
As we all know, that works, right?
It works very well. Yes.
Yeah, gets you right onto the other side. So, they know that they're up against some serious problems and issues, and the girl. It turns out the demon is so strong, he's able to possess two people at one time, which is a nice twist as
Yeah.
well. The boy and the girl, and so they kind of think they got it out of the boy, and then the girl starts doing things, floating, and here we go, her head does the turn, and then the body drops,
Which is why I'm taking a point off, because too on the nose of a callback to the, like, just come on. But in general, I really like that last quarter of the movie. Like, and I said this, we keep saying it, but when there has not been a really good Bible movie in a long time, to where, like, the prophecy, I think, was with Christopher Walken about the fallen angels and the war in heaven. And you haven't there. I want that movie. Like, I want the devils fighting each other, the demons fighting angels, God casting out Satan. Like, that would be a great, and people just kind of like, that would be a good movie.
Isn't that what Veggie Tales is about?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I should go watch it. Yeah. But that's what I want. Just that really rich Catholic mysticism of ancient religions kind of mixed in with newer stuff, instead of just, there's a demon, let's get him out. I want, like, that. I don't even know how to explain it right. A nice bit, like, where's the tale of David and Goliath? Like, that could be a great movie. And like a historical document, but done well. Russell Crowe was in the Noah movie, which kind of tried to do that, but I think there's more that should have been done with that movie. Instead of, we give the Nephilim, which are the offspring of humans and angels, and then you have, like, I want that kind of just super God.
You want the Old Testament.
Yes, I want an Old Testament movie.
You want the angry God.
Yes.
I'll smite you, and you are going to be.
I want to be a pillar of salt. No, that's not what I want. I want to see a pillar of salt.
I don't have the passwords to YouTube to do this. So you can't do that.
I want to see women turned into pillars of salt for the crime of nostalgia, and just that sort of thing. But, and this is right there. There's some really good just stuff right at the end, and
So let's do that.
Let's talk about the end.
They're outside of the Abbey's a well, and they take the top off, and it's lined with skulls. Which is it's a cool look.
Yeah.
It really look neat. And they, of course, do what we all would do coming across a hole full of skulls. We climb down into it, right? To say, hey, down here can't be anything bad, right? They go down and find out that while the Pope is surviving and struggling in the Vatican to get healthy, he's kind of feeling what's going on a little bit and aware of what's his Aberth, right? Isn't that his name? Mort. And so he's as they're going through this, he's like, oh no, it's not what you think. Don't, the Pope is talking, and they open up an area, and there's a cage with a priest's body inside. And they're saying he must be like the last protector or whatever, and so they reach in and they find the key, and when they open it up, unknowingly, they're opening it up to the demon that's inside. They've done exactly what they shouldn't have done. It made things worse.
And the demon is Asmodee, the king of hell. For people who play Diablo, you know what we're talking about.
I don't play Diablo. Dude, I'm a very Madden 2K.
But all the
I-
demons get cool names. I wish. And the angels actually have cool names too. You never get to hear the cool angel names.
Michael.
Uziel and Adiel. Like, those are good names.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Lucifer, that's a cool name.
Lucifer's a great name. Got ruined.
Did it though?
Yeah. It's like naming your kid Osama or naming your kid. You can't really name your kid what else? Like
Adolf. You can't name him
Adolf.
Adolf.
Yeah, Adolf's ruined. You can't name your kid Adolf.
Yeah,
I wonder if somebody has.
Oh yes. Oh, I know there have been. There are people who have named. They're not people you and I would talk to,
okay.
but they have named their kids Adolf. There was another Tell 'em Steve Dave, which is one of my favorite podcasts to listen to for years. They've been around for like 12, 13 years. They used to have a thing called they would almost every episode Hitler would pop up and they would talk about him and things that were weird. And there was a neo-Nazi who named his kid Adolf, and yeah, oh yeah, it's out there, dude.
All right. I guess.
Anyhow, so they go into this big cathedral type.
Why wouldn't
thing.
I expect that from humans? Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, there's no surprise here.
No. No. Okay, cage priest.
They go in there, and unfortunately, what we both of us wanted with the cage doesn't happen, but that's all right. And they go in, and the demons and the priests have a battle, a physical battle, where they're coming out of like a pond. The demons are coming out of like a well pond type thing, bottom of it.
And Russell Crowe gets possessed. He has the demon in him.
Well, he takes it in to protect. Yeah, he takes it in to protect the others, and of course, I was assuming, and you were assuming, that he was going to be locked in there. The young priest was going to jump in the cage and be the guardian
for eternity.
Doesn't happen.
No. Nice little twist.
Yeah. Instead, because that was really, it seemed to be going that way.
Yeah.
And the other, that is a trope also. The priest saying, "Take me," get in me. They should never say that, and they do it every movie. So it's really weird. You just give up on that by now.
Yeah.
So they have the battle out. There's a cool explosion of a demon blood body everywhere.
I thought was one of the best effects in the movie of the girl popping. It was fantastic.
And the young priest covered in the blood, like what the? Like, he just is completely disgusted. And then they do the burning onto the older demon, and it kind of ends the thing there. That's until, I guess we'll call it the epilogue, where the priests return back to the Vatican. The young priest who was against Russell Crowe and the idea of exorcism has been exorcised from the Vatican, so to speak. That's a good one. Yeah. And the Russell Crowe's character and the young priest have become super exorcists.
Exorcist Team 6 or whatever.
Yes, Exorcist 6. They rip open their shirts.
Super Exorcist Team 666. No, that would be bad guys then. Team 777.
I don't know. So they 999. So they it really has a superhero ending feel.
It does, like, and it sets up
like their power.
Yeah, right. Power twins act of the Super Exorcist team of going around to hunt the other 199 demons that fell to Earth with Satan, which I could watch. I could get behind that. And I think you said last time, make it a TV series, a Demon of the Week episode, of these two guys going around fighting. That could be a good show, which reminds me a lot of, I think it was that TV show, and I didn't remember it till just now, Brimstone, that was on a long time ago. Where
X-Files,
it was on the same night as Millennium. It came on like after Millennium. It was a demon hunter guy that was hunting down the other demons that had escaped hell, and I think that could be a good show. That could be a good thing. Like,
and if you're a comic book guy, it's Constantine.
Yes.
I mean, that would,
yeah,
which was a great show for the 12, 13 episodes they showed it.
Yeah,
before
I need to watch that. I have not. I just did seen the movie, and I saw I read some of the comics, but
They're making a sequel with Keanu Reeves again. I heard.
Oh, really?
He's coming back.
That
Yeah.
could be.
It could be good. You know, he doesn't miss very often. He's pretty solid, man.
What'd you think? What's your grade for The Pope's Exorcist?
I give it an A.
Okay, I'm going B. I took the point off for the spinning of the heads. I thought the first 3/4 too on the nose of your typical Exorcist. I want more Old Testament.
And I did give it a because number one, Russell Crowe is so believable in this and so good. How he didn't win an award for this, I don't know. Seriously, he is phenomenal.
He's good. And I go watch Unhinged, and I also brought up last time, watch Romper Stomper, which is one of his first movies. He plays a Nazi skinhead, and I think another really good Russell Crowe movie. Great bookends, Unhinged and Romper Stomper. We did not, for Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies, we didn't kitify. What's your kit from Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies?
Same one I said a week ago. It would be Roddy Piper in a little 2-figure thing, taking his 2x4 and smacking Hacksaw Jim Duggan in the dome and ending that zombie Jim Duggan.
Yeah, and mine was the same. It's zombie Jim Duggan chewing on a foot or the hand, whatever it was. Oh, there'd be good stuff.
And again, you could even to make something like kind of corny-ish and movie poster-ish, you could even have the pose in front of the flag.
Oh yeah, on top of a pile of zombies. Like yeah.
Evil Dead.
You know that's not bad. Yeah, very Evil Deadish, like that kind of thing. For this movie, Pope's Exorcist, we both agreed on the exact same, I think, thing. So go ahead and say that one.
There's and
it's our background too. Is where I think it is.
There's a throne in the basement of the demon. What's his name?
Asmodee.
Asmodee, and when Russell Crowe's character takes the demon in, he's sitting on it, and it could be just a really cool him holding, just sitting back with the staff and
real dark evil eyes. It looks burned out,
like bleeding out.
Yeah,
right?
It's like burned and on fire, almost looking like.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. It's so good.
Yeah.
And that throne would be really.
I agree. That's your kit from the movie right there. Just him on the throne, or there's even like he's levitating with it in front of the throne too. You could do a cool thing with that. There'd be some cool like that's your kit from this movie if you're gonna make one. But man, all right.
Hey, two good movies.
Two good movies. Not terrible. We're not walking out angry. We're not crying. They are not crimes of the future levels.
Still the standard of bad that we'll use. Though Fangoria, again, I looked at that. And I remember I said that Fangoria was promoting it on the top. It was more about the making of the monsters and all that than it was about the actual.
It's funny. I was watching a thing on David Cronenberg and Videodrome and how Videodrome predicted the future, and it really did. And it taught, like, you could see how that turned into crimes of the future in a way, like just his brain, how he makes stuff. But man, everybody go back and watch Videodrome and compare it to YouTube, like to this. It's so he nailed it. He nailed it.
He's the Simpsons of
dude, he was. Dude, it's there's maybe I'll find the video and link it here if I can find it, of the guy explaining how it basically predicted what's going on right now. But anyway, my movie for next episode is No One Will Save You, which is on Hulu. It's an alien invasion house movie. So, and I guess what I've heard is there's barely any dialogue in it, which goes along with what I didn't like about 65 having too much dialogue. So I'm getting what I'm asking for, hopefully. So No One Will Save You is our next movie, with a side of House on the Bayou. For Scott, we're supposed to watch for our live episode. We'll talk about it there. Coming up in late December, we'll have that date posted in the next regular, what do we call it?
Yeah.
Model Club TV podcast.
Yeah. I know it's so hard to remember because you're trying to wipe that other guy off your memory.
So yeah, we'll talk about that because Scott actually watched a movie and wanted us to talk about it. So I'm sure it's a terrible movie. I'm going in with that feeling, and we'll see everybody.
Scott and I have a lot of the same taste. I just didn't stop watching films in 1948.
Yeah. Awesome.
I mean,
well, thank you for being a good sport and doing this twice. It's been fun. I think we did it better the second time. Maybe we should do it like this every time.
You know what? The first time we did it, it took us almost 2.5 hours. It was a long one. It was really long. This one, I'm just looking. We did this in about 1 hour and 15. We took 45 minutes.
We did. We saved everybody 45 minutes. So, and we squeezed more content in there about different movies. So,
yeah.
All right. We'll see everybody next time with No One Will Save You. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. We're a week late. Sorry about that.
11.5.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
All right, buddy.